Hello students, welcome to EdAcad, an initiative by a postgrad student from IIT Kharagpur. Through this channel, we'll try to address some hidden topics in civil engineering for which many resources are not available online, but they are equally important from GATE, EAC and other PSU's exam point of view. So in this first lecture series, we'll be looking at theory of errors, which is a part of a surveying. So recently its questions have started popping up in several exams, and so it becomes a very important topic, and we can't afford to lose marks if questions come up from this topic, because they are very straightforward and simple in nature. Also, will not be diving very much deep into these topics, since you all are here to crack exams and not to do research in these topics. We'll try to keep our video lectures very concise, and we'll try to cover up all the important crux of the lesson, and will not be wasting too much time in the things which are not needed much for our exams. So let's quickly get started. So let's look at some of the definitions first. So first we have true value. So it is defined as the value which is absolutely free from all the errors, and it is also mentioned here that it is practically impossible to get the true value of any measurement. So when I say that it's practically impossible, what I mean is, so let's say you are measuring a length of a line, and this length is very small, let's say 15 centimeter or let's say 10 centimeter, and you are measuring it with the help of a meter scale or the general ruler. So in that case you can get a very exact value, but generally when we deal with ground surveying, so we take lengths which are in 100 or even thousands of meters. So in that case, to get the exact true value, by true value I mean that there will be zero error in that measurement, even the slightest of error will not be present. So you can imagine that that is practically impossible to get the true value of that, mostly when you are using a chain or a tape which have some pre-existing errors in them. So this is what I mean by true value. Then the next comes is the observed value. So it is obtained as the result of an observation after applying corrections for all the known errors. So generally when we hear this term, the observed value, we feel that the observed value is the one which we are generally noting down the values, but in actual the observed value is the one which you get after applying all the known corrections. So let's say you know that you have some kind of sag error in the chain which you have, in the tape which you have used. So first you need to apply that correction for sag, and then the value which you are obtaining, that is the observed value. Then comes the most probable value. So what does that mean? So when several observations are taken for the same quantity, most probable value is the value which is most likely to be the true value. So let's try to understand this with the help of an example. So let's say you are taking the measurement of a line, and you are taking five measurements of this line. So you are measuring this line 5 times. So let's say 3 times you have obtained the value of this line as 30.5 meter, and let's say 1 time you have obtained the value as 30.2 meters, and another one you have obtained it as 30.7 meters. So you can easily figure out that we are taking 5 values, and 3 times we are getting the value as 30.5. so this becomes the most probable value. So this is what we term as most probable value. So next comes the discrepancy. So let's understand what is discrepancy. So the observed difference between two like measurements, each of which may have an error of a quantity, is termed as discrepancy. So again, let's say you have measured the length of a line, and once you have obtained the value as 30.1 meter, and another time you have obtained the value as 30.2 meter. So the difference between these two values, because you have done the measurement of the same length, so you have done like measurements, and the difference between these two values will reflect the discrepancy. Next comes the mistake. So error arising from carelessness, inexperience, poor judgment and confusion of the observer is termed as mistake. So this is very important, because this has come up in several exams, and this forms a very important objective question as well. You need to make a note of it. So they can simply ask that error arising from carelessness, inexperience and poor judgment is termed as mistake, discrepancy, residual error or something else. So you need to put mistakes in that. Also, just throughout this lecture, remember this: error is equals to measured value minus true value. So E equals to MV minus TV. This you need to remember. Sometimes students tend to confuse between error and correction, because the correction is the negative of error. So the formula for correction will be true value minus measured value, but you need to remember this: error is equals to measured value minus true value. So let's move ahead. Now let us look at laws of weights. This is the most important topic in this theory of errors, and mostly small numericals will get formulated from this topic only. So we have a total of 7 laws of weights. We'll be looking at each one of them one by one. So before that, let's understand a small concept here, that whenever we do an angle measurement, and to find the most probable value of an angle, what we do is we take several measurements of that angle. So in that case, let's say we have taken the first measurement, angle A1, as some value x, and we have taken some angle A. We have like in the second measurement we have got this value as again y. Similarly, we have done some n number of measurements, and mostly we have found that A1 is getting repeated more number of times, like it is getting repeated 7 times. Then this is value is getting repeated 2 times. Then another value is getting repeated, let's say 4 times. So in that case, the value which is getting repeated more number of times is assigned a higher weight, because this value is getting is occurring again and again, means that it is more close to true value. So we assign a higher weight to it, and finally we calculate the arithmetic mean to finally obtain our most probable value of this angle. So I think you should be clear with this concept, that the angle which will be more close to the actual value will get a higher weight assigned to it. Okay, now let us look at the first law. The first law says that the weight of arithmetic mean of observation of unit weight is equal to the number of observations. So what does it mean? That let's say you have taken an angle measurement of angle A, and you have gotten some values, and but you have measured it just once, or you have gotten a unit weight. All the weights have just unit value. So the arithmetic mean of this angle will have a weight of summation of these unit weights. So you will get a, let's say if you have taken just 3 observations, so the arithmetic the weight of the arithmetic mean of that observation will be 3. The second, now let us look at the second law. This is based upon the first law only. So the only difference here is that in the first one we had only unit weights for individual observations, but here we have different weights. So let's say for first angle measurement you have a weight of 3, then for second you have weight of 2, and then for third you have a weight of 3. So for the arithmetic mean of the observations, the weight will come out to be the summation of these individual weights. It will come out to be 8. So how we calculate this arithmetic mean, we'll be looking it through a numerical in the later part of this lecture series. Moving on, let's look at the third law of weight. This is the law of algebraic addition. So it says that if two or more quantities are added algebraically, the weight of the summation is equal to the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocal of the individual weights. Let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Let's say you have an angle alpha and its value is given here. It's 46 degree 30 minutes and 30 seconds, and its weight is given as 3. And you have another angle beta and its weight is given as 2. So the algebra here, you need to take a note that we are doing the algebraic sum and not just the arithmetic sum. So in arithmetic sum we do not consider the sign, but here we'll be taking the sign into consideration. So it can be alpha plus beta or it can be alpha minus beta, but in these both cases the weights will not change and it will come out as we are taking let's look at here, like the weight of the summation is equal to the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocal of the individual weights. So again we have to do the reciprocal of individual weights. So 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2, it will come out to be as 6 by 5. So this will be the weight of the algebraic sum. Then comes the multiplication law. Let's again look it with the help of an example. So let's say you have an angle alpha. Again you can take the example of this only, 46 degree 30 minute and 30 seconds, and you need to and this has a weight of 3. We have a weight of 3. So if you want to find the weight of 2 alpha, what you need to do is you need to multiply the weight of alpha, you need to divide the weight of alpha with the square of the multiplication factor. So the weight of the 2 alpha will come out to be 3 by 4. I think this should be very clear. This is very simple. Let's move on to the next, the law of division. This is similar to the law of multiplication. Here let's see, if you have an angle of 2 alpha and its weight is given as 2, and you need to find the weight of alpha. So what you are actually doing here is you are dividing 2 alpha by 2. So in case of weight, you need to multiply this with the square of the division factor. So this will come out to be 4 to the 8. So 8 will come out to be the weight of alpha if you have a weight of 2 assigned to 2 alpha. I think this should be also very clear. Now let's look at the sixth law. So sixth law says that if an equation is multiplied by its own weight, the weight of the result is the reciprocal of the weight of the equation. So what does this mean? That in case you have two angles alpha, angle A and angle B, and you are given that the weight of angle A plus angle B is, let's say, 2 by 5, and if you multiply this weight with the equation, so if you are to find the weight of 2 by 5 of angle A plus angle B, so this will come out to be the reciprocal of this weight. So it will be simply 5 by 2. Okay, this should be also clear. We'll be looking at these concepts through question also in the later part of this slide. Just bear with me. In the seventh, so let us look at the seventh law. The seventh law is, if an equation is added or subtracted from a constant or all its signs are changed, the weight remains unchanged. So again, what does this mean is that in case we have angle A plus angle B given as, let's say, the weight of this equation is 2 by 5, and let's say there is some constant K, we can take this as, let's say, 180 degree, and you are subtracting this equation from 180 degree, so the weight will remain the same, it won't change. So the weight will remain as 2 by 5. So in this all 7 laws, I would say that law of multiplication law, that if you are multiplying it with something, the weight will get divided by the square of that multiplication factor, and the division law are the two very important laws which you need to keep in mind. Others also you can just have a look at it, but these two laws you need to remember. Next, let's start looking at some of the questions and clear our concept through these questions, because these are the kind of questions I have selected, those questions which are like they have high probability of occurring in the competitive exams. So let's look at the first question. So it says the most probable value of two angles A and B are given with their probable error. So whenever it's given as plus minus 2 second or 3 second, you need to understand that these are the probable error which is mentioned, and it's asking find the probable error of angle A plus angle B. So in this case there is a formula that error will be equal to, and you also need to remember that look that they are asking at probable error and not the probable value. So if they are asking error, you just need to find the error, not the value. So for the error you just need to do the square of these individual errors, 2 square plus 3 square. Okay, and you need to take the summation of these two, because it's asking, no, I mean when they ask to find you the probable value, when they ask you to find probable value, then you need to take the sum of these two, whatever will come, plus minus you need to enter this value, whatever you are getting this E value, like this value. So I think you can solve this, and the answer will come out to be 3.605 seconds. You just need to do this square. This is very simple, you can do it. Okay, now let's move ahead. Let's look at the next question. So here we have calculate the most probable value and the most probable error. So let's see, here they are asking the value and error both of the area of a circle of radius this with 0 point. So by this they mean that the value of the radius is 12.25 with a probable error of plus minus 0.03 meters. So what is the area of the circle? Area is pi r square, right? So what you need to do here is you need to differentiate it with the respect to r, because other values are anyways constant. So this you will get it as 2 pi r. So del A by del r you have gotten it as 2 pi r. And next, for finding the probable error in area, you need to multiply the error in radius with this del A by del r. Okay, so this you will get it as plus minus, what is this value, 0.03 E of r into del A by del r. You can simply put all the values, right? 2 into pi, please excuse me for my handwriting, and r value is 12.25. So this should come out to be plus minus 2.309 meters. Okay, and also let's look if they have asked you to find the value, most probable value. So this is simple, you will do you just need to calculate the area of the circle, which is pi r square. Okay, so again you will put all the values. Pi r you will put it as 12.25. You will find this value, and the value and most probable value. For that you need to add plus minus whatever value you have gotten here plus this value. This value you need to put it here, then you will get the probable value. Let's look at the next question. So let me change the pen color. So calculate the most probable value and probable error. Again both value and error has been asked of the area of a rectangle whose sides are as follows. So see again here, area A, side A and side B is given. So what is the area of a rectangle? Its length into breadth, or the multiplication of the sides. So you need to do A cross B. Again first you need to find the partial differentiation of this area with respect to A. So you will get this as simply B, because you are doing the partial differentiation, so that means that you are treating B as constant. I think this should be very clear. And again you will be taking as the partial differentiation of area with respect to B, so this you will get it as A, right? So for finding the error in area, you will simply have to use this formula, that E into A. By EA I mean this value, E in the A side, this is this value 0.02 into del A upon del A and square plus EB. By EB I mean this value, error in the side B, 0.01 into same thing you need to do del A upon del B square, and this will come out to be plus minus, right? So you will find this EA, and similarly for finding the value, same thing as we did with the circle, you will multiply AB. So how much this will come out to be? A into B, 15,000, and plus minus this value. Let's write this as PV, probable value, and this as PEA, probable value in area. So this value you will substitute all these values here. You will substitute the value of del A by del A as B and del A by del B as A, and you will find the values. Okay, so I'm not okay, let's write the value of the error. It will come out to be plus minus 3.122 meter. Okay, now let's look at the next question. So the next question says the most probable value of an angle A from the following observations equation is. So it has been given that A angle has been measured and its weight has come out to be 2, and 2A has been measured as 60 and its weight has come out to be 1. So the most probable value of angle A has been asked. So what you need to do here is, since they have given the weight of 2A, so the value of 2A they have given it as 60 degree, and its weight they have given it as 1. So first you need to find what will be the value of A from this, and what will be its weight. So what you are doing here, actually you are dividing 2A by a factor 2. So you have obtained this as 60 by 2, 30 degree. And what will be the, how the weight will change? This has been discussed in the law of division, that if you are dividing this with the factor, so for weights you have to multiply it with the square of this factor. So 2 square you have to multiply it, and its weight will come out to be 4, right? So ultimately this equation comes out to be that you have an A angle with this value weight 2, and next you have an A angle with this value 30 degree and weight 4. So what will be the arithmetic like the weight of the arithmetic mean? That will be simply 4 plus 2, right? It will come out to be 6. And for finding the value, what you need to do is, see, you have 30 degree, or you can see 0 minute 0 second. So we have only and the angle which is given here is 30 degree 0 minute 20 seconds. So you have only variation in the seconds part. So for finding the most probable value, you can take this 30 degree 0 minute outside, and you need to divide this 1 by 6 weight, and you need to multiply 4 you need to multiply with, anyways it will get multiplied by 0 seconds, plus this weight 2 you need to multiply it with 20 seconds. Right? How much this will come out to be? 30 degree 0 minutes plus, what is this, 1 by 6 into this became 0, and this became 40 seconds. So this comes out to be 40 seconds. You need to divide 40 by 6. How much it will come out to be? I get 6.66. So 30 degree, final answer will be 30 degree 0 minute 6.66 seconds. So answer A is correct. Let's move on. Let's look at another question. The probable error of a line is given as the probable error of a line 250 meter long. The error was 0.02 meter. The probable error of another line 500 meter long under the same conditions will be, and this will be simply that since you have obtained an error of 0.02 for 250 meter, so in this case for 500 meter line it will come out to be, you can follow I guess for 250 meter you have obtained it as 0.02. Unitary method you can follow here. So 1 it will be 0.02 by 250, and for simply 500 this will get multiplied by 500. So the answer will be plus minus, you need to remember this, simply C. Let's move ahead. The next question is, the most probable value of an angle is given. This is the most probable value. The value of its supplement will be. So here what you need to do is just what you need to do here is, if they have asked you the value of its supplement, you need to multiply the given value from 180 degree. These are small things which can come up in the exam, and you should not lose marks if these questions come. So if you will just read it once, it will stay in your mind that okay, if it's asked the value of supplement, what we have to do is just we have to subtract it from 180 degree, and for the supplement also the error will remain same. So this you need to remember. They can ask a MCQ kind of question that for the supplement will the value of error change, so you need to put there that it won't change. So if you subtract 39 degree 29 minutes 30 seconds from 180 degree, and since the value is remaining same, so the answer will come out to be A. Let's move ahead. So these are some of the objective questions which can be formulated from this theory of errors lesson, and these are important. Let's look at them one by one. So the first question is, a residual error of measurement is the difference of. So this is quite important. So residual error is of a measurement is the difference of true and observed values, most probable and observed values, true and most probable value, or standard and probable value. So the answer would be the most probable and the observed values, because true value anyhow we don't get it. So the most probable value, so the value which will be the most close to the true value minus the observed value after applying all the corrections, so that value is termed as residual error. Next, if a quantity of a given weight is multiplied by a factor, the weight of the result is obtained by dividing its given weight by, this is the multiplication law which we saw in the law of weights. So that thing, for obtaining the weight of the resultant, we need to divide it by the square of the factor. So option B should be correct. Next, error arising from the carelessness of the observer are known as, this is very important, compensating errors, systematic errors, mistakes and discrepancy. The answer will be mistakes. This is very important. Also, next, in case of the line of levels, the weight varies. This you need to remember, because each and everything can't be covered in this small lecture, but these are important and can be asked in your exam. So just remember this, that in case of line of levels, the weight varies inversely as the length of route. B option is correct. Also, next, let's see, the method of least square deals with discrepant observations having negative cumulative errors, positive cumulative errors, compensating errors, or the systematic errors. So I am leaving this question for you guys. You need to find this and answer it in the comment section. You need to answer this in the comment section, and I'll also mentioning the correct answer in the comment section. Okay, now let's move ahead. So the next question is, which of the following method is known as rigid method of figure adjustment? The method of differences, method of least squares, method of correlates, or direct method? So the method of least squares is known as the rigid method of figure adjustment. Also, where A is the area of a spherical triangle and R is the radius of the earth. In the triangulation, I think this is come up from something else. Just neglect this part. The next question starts from here. So in the triangulation adjustment for closing the horizon condition, the error is distributed. So I think you would have studied this in traversing chapter also, that let's say this is a loop which you are measuring, and let's say there is some closing error here, right? So you find this error, whatever error is there in this part, and how this error gets adjusted. So the options are equally all the angles, inversely as the respective weights, by forming and solving normal equation, all the above are true. So what we generally do is, whatever we error get here and how the number of sides which we have, so we divide this error by the number of sides and we divide equally between all the sides to compensate for this closing error. So the answer should be equally to all the angles. Then the log sign correction is made in triangulation to satisfy apex condition, opposite angles, side condition, peripheral sum. So the answer should be side condition. Log sign correction is made in triangulation to satisfy side condition. So these are some of the objective questions for which you don't need to go through the entire lesson, because it's a very lengthy lesson, and it's not that worth to spend that much time for this. There are other very important topics where you need to focus. So these are some of the objective questions which I thought very important, and you should be looking at them. Apart from that, whatever these numerical questions could have been formulated from this, I have tried to cover up in this lecture. Still, if you feel that there are some part which haven't been covered, please put that in the comment section below. I'll try to make a separate lecture out of it, and we'll be posting it in the subsequent lecture series. I hope you like this video. Please let us know in the comment section below. If you did end up liking this video, please consider subscribing our channel and press that bell icon to never miss any update. Also, let us know in the comment section which all topics you are facing issue with, and you want me to cover those topics in the subsequent lecture series. Thank you.